floor, was appealing as well.
Rob, were you surprised who Cleveland took, and you had a chance to take Noel and you passed? Why did you pass?
I was not in any of the meetings in Cleveland, so I'm not sure if I was surprised or not. I really had no idea what they were going to do. Tonight is about drafting Victor Oladipo and Romero Osby, and there were a lot of guys we didn't draft, and a lot of reasons why we didn't, but I don't feel like speculating.
What was the health of Noel play in that?
He played in a little bit, but it certainly wasn't the end-all, be-all reason.
Why didn't you draft Ben McLemore?
Because we took Victor Oladipo.
Well, why?
We
Why?
like Victor better.
Well, why not Ben?
We felt like Victor made more sense for us.
Rob, Victor, people have called him the most sure thing in this draft. Is that something you've seen from the workouts? It seems defensively, offensively, there's a number of aspects to his game that make him the right fit.
We like Victor because we feel like Victor has a work ethic and an approach to the game that will allow him to continually improve. And we feel that way about a lot of the players we have. So it was more about his approach and his work ethic and his tenacity that really resonated with us.
Rob, can you talk about what you saw from Victor defensively and how he might be able to help your team on that end of the floor?
Yeah, again, just a tireless work ethic at that end of the floor. I think, we really saw Victor as someone who took pride in defense, took pride in defending the best player on the opposing team. So, anytime you have someone who wants to play defense and gets excited about defense, that excites us, and that was one of the reasons that we liked him as much as we do.
How do you think Victor is going to fit in the culture that you guys established this past year?
Well, we hope he fits great. We feel like he's about what we want to be about. He's humble, he's a hard worker, he's unselfish, and he wants to be a great player in this league. And we feel like those ingredients are ingredients that mesh well with what we're trying to build here.
Rob, he's 6'3", but he has long arms. Can he guard ones, twos? Can he guard threes?
Time will tell. We think he can guard, the backcourt, I would say. But time will tell on that.
Rob, how close did you come to trading the second pick?
We considered it. I would say there were certain instances where we came close to pulling the trigger, but opted not to. I would say semi-close.
A little bit later down in the draft, New Orleans selected Nerlens Noel and then traded him and a protected first-round pick next year for an all-star point guard. Was that a trade that was potentially offered to you? And if so, what was your calculus there?
We had a lot of different things thrown our way, Josh. That specific deal was not one of them.
Rob, did age or maturity play a factor in taking Victor over, let's say, Nerlens or Ben?
No, I would say age was not a factor.
Rob, whether he plays the one or the two, you have veterans at those positions. Does taking Victor speak to your plans for Jameer or Flalo and what you plan to do with them?
I don't think so, Joe. No, I think that it speaks to the fact that we drafted someone who is about what we want to be about and brings a skill set that we feel our team could use. And like anything else, it's going to be merit based. So if you earn minutes, you'll get the minutes, and Coach Vaughn will certainly dictate that.
Do you see him as more of a one or a two?
We see him as a guard.
Rob, what was Coach Vaughn's role throughout this process, if any, and how do you see Victor fitting in Coach Vaughn's system?
Coach Vaughn was very involved in the process, whether it be getting to know the players off the floor or working them out on the floor. He was very proactive in this process, and it's always important to make sure your coach is involved and does have that buy-in, and Jacques certainly was excited about Victor as well.
How important is it for the players to have a full education background? I've noticed a significant trend that you're picking players with maybe 2 to 4 years of college in their resume.
Well, that may just be coincidental at this point. Hopefully I'm still here several drafts from now, and we'll see if that trend still continues. Again, I would call that, I guess, random coincidence more than a planned strategy.
We've talked about Oladipo's defense, and he's obviously a skilled defender. What do you see his offensive potential to be?
I think he's got a chance to be well-rounded in a lot of different areas. I think you started to see that this year with the jump that he made in a lot of the different statistical categories. And as we looked at that, we felt that really speaks to his work ethic and his ambition and his drive in the summer to make himself into a player. So we liked the fact that those spikes occurred, because we felt it was indicative of a relentless ambition to get better.
Victor was one of many players to visit Orlando over the last several weeks. What did you and your staff learn about him through talking with him face to face that your staff may not have known prior to that?
He's a great singer. So we knew that before coming in. We had him sing a song in Chicago when we interviewed him as part of our interview. So he'll probably tell you about that when he gets here. But I would say that's the one attribute that we didn't know we had that we grew to really respect, was the fact that he can sing.
How many opportunities did you have to move down to?
How many opportunities? At the end of the day, I'd say we had 2 opportunities that we could have looked at, or that we did look at. We could have moved on.
Okay, so you brought it up. What was the song, and what was it about in the way, maybe his charisma, maybe the quality of his answers or his thought process that impressed you?
He's very genuine, and I think he has a big heart, and I think that showed itself, that reared itself through the discussions that we had with him, whether we were talking about basketball or about life or about anything in between. He has a real sincerity and a real charismatic energy to him that we really like.
Rob, Victor's obviously the big name here with the 2nd overall pick, but you guys also drafted Romero Osby with the 54th overall pick. What made you want to pick him, especially with having so many forwards on your guys' roster already?
Josh, it was Usher. And I want to say it was, you got me bad? No.
What is his name? You want to leave the one away?
That's not good for
But I don't know if that's the title of the song. I don't remember that. It was Usher. It's the artist.
You got me.
Ro, we watched Ramiro all year in Oklahoma, and our scouting staff really liked him. And at that point in the draft, a lot of times you look for just players you like, regardless of what position they play or don't play. So it was more a function of picking that late in the draft and seeing someone on the board who's still available that you liked, and we decided to take him.
Rob, was there any part of you the day he left the meeting here that you said, if he's available or if we keep the pick, that's our guy?
Which pick? Two or
With
three?
Victor, did you, when you met with him here in Orlando, was there any part of you that said, if we keep the pick, that's our guy?
A part of us, but we still wanted to work through the process. We didn't make that call when he came in. We had to work through the process and continue to gather information on all the other prospects.
When was the final call made on him? Was it today or?
Within the last couple of days.
You had any, since you picked him, any teams interested to see if you'd part with him?
I have not checked my voicemail recently, but as of the moment I walked in here, no one had called yet.
Teams going after that guy, did you detect that Victor, because we had read beforehand Minnesota liked him, other teams trying to move up to get him, did you?
It's hard to say for sure because there's so much chatter, right? So teams were interested in our pick, but they weren't disclosing why they were interested or for what player. So that's hard to answer. I'm not really sure. I think a lot of that's just speculation.
Rob, you said you were semi-close to possibly pulling off a deal before taking Oladipo. Can you take us inside the room? How hectic was that? And is there anything in your past experience from Oklahoma City to San Antonio that actually prepares you for maybe what that was like?
Sure. I think the mood, it was fairly calm. Anytime a trade proposal is presented, there are certain mechanisms and different checks and balances that we go through to come up with the answer of does this make sense and why or why not. So the process was really streamlined, to be honest with you, and I felt like we did a good job of being organized and prepared for those types of scenarios that came our way.
Any experiences in the past that you felt like you were able to call upon to help with that, or?
Nothing specific that comes to mind. I just think in general, having been around a few drafts and having been around discussions like that, you get a general gauge as to the pace and the different ingredients that line up and how likely a deal is to be completed versus what may be fluff.
With the draft probably being completed by now, are there any undrafted free agents that you're looking to target to help round out summer league roster or to help?
We're in the process of that right now. I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly who we're targeting yet because I'm not sure, since I'm here talking to you guys, who we're calling, but our staff's working on that now.
Rob, how many times did your staff see Victor live, and did you see him live?
Yes, I did see him live, and our staff probably saw him maybe a half dozen times or so live this season, in addition to watching the practice.
Rob, last year you were hired about a week before the draft. What have you enjoyed most during the process for this draft that you didn't get to do last year?
Having more bodies in the draft room. So I think we had four people in the draft room last year, and this year we had about 15. So that proved to be more fun.
Okay, we have time for a couple more, so
Rob, I know this is a big night for the organization going forward, and we're talking about the newcomers, but you also have some decisions coming up with regard to Etwan Moore, who I believe has a guarantee date, as well as a qualifying offer for Daquan Jones. Have you taken a look at those guys' situations yet, and when can we expect to hear about them?
We have. We'll have to spend the next few days collecting our thoughts on those two issues, and we have to make a decision before July 1st on both of them. So we'll be prepared to do that here in the next coming days, but have not come to a conclusion yet on either one.
What does Victor's presence mean for Aaron Aflalo?
It means there's another guard on the roster. We feel like they can play together, and we feel like in some ways they complement each other very well. So I guess it means that Aaron has a new teammate, so does Victor.
Okay, Dick, last one.
Yeah, Rob, you're sitting there with the number 2 pick. Were you as shocked as everybody else when the announcement of the number 1 pick was made?
Honestly, no. The draft was such a wide open draft this year, so I think a case could have been made for a lot of different players to go number 1, and I think Cleveland made a great pick.
Rob, apparently Eric Bledsoe did not get traded here tonight. Where does that deal stand? Is it dead? Do you revisit it?
I don't think it's standing right now. It might be kneeling. We may revisit it. That's something that we'll have to work through, you know, as we get into the summer. But as of now, there's really nothing to say about it.
Okay, two quick announcements. Tomorrow, Victor will be here at 3:30, so you can come in through the employee security entrance. And the name of the song was "Make Me Wanna," and of course, Wanna is W-A-N-N-A.
Is that my car?
We love you, Joel. We were saying here in the